Anyway, and then one of my neighbors, I was talking to them. And I was telling them I needed cataract surgery. They didn't know anything about it. They said, yeah, we sure do. She says, well, I used Dr. Wood's indicator. Had my eyes operated on. He said, when I went back in for the follow-up checkup, there was something in my eye, there was something wrong. I kept telling him, he kept checking me. Said, ain't nothing wrong, everything's fine, you're just doing fine. I said, boy, a couple of weeks go by, it just kept bothering me. So my daughter-in-law, my son's wife, come by one day, and she was from Memphis or something she did at Memphis, but there was an eye doctor in Memphis that she had been seeing, it was really good. She said, Mama, you just come on and go with me today. I'm going to take him, just let him look at you while I'm in his office. So he said, well, okay. That doctor in Memphis one look at her eye. He said, ma'am, I can tell you exactly what's wrong with your eye. It's got a cut in it, it's got 3 stitches, and them stitches is bothering your eye.
Who put the stitches in?
Dr. Wood did it when he operated. He screwed up, made a cut, something, and never wouldn't tell her.
And didn't take
The other
the
eye
stitches out?
didn't tell her. And she kept asking,
Whoa.
what's wrong with my eye?
Oh.
So I thought, I mean, I just kept finding that stuff you keep asking people. I mean, you'd be surprised, you know, you think, well, Arlene, you ever had any problem with your eyes? Went to the doctor, I just kept, Willis, you ever done it? Clarence, you know, and I just kept running in, I was surprised what all I learned. But now that I've used Dr. Darabo, the first girl, I went to the first appointment, and they put me through 3 girls, then I got to see the doctor and another lady. That first girl, when she did her little part on the checking me and talked to her, she was top-notch professional from the word go. She passed me off to another lady. By that time I got that second lady, I was so impressed with them women. I got that third one. I said, I ain't met that doctor yet. If this guy's half as good as these girls, he's my man. I mean, I just couldn't believe it. I mean, you know, I've been in and out of doctor's office, and once in a while you'll stumble some people that's got it together, and you could tell it.
You definitely.
Well, I got to
somebody
him,
done
I
it
finally
together.
met him, and I met that 4th girl. Son, they were better than all the 3 girls before, and I thought, damn, this guy. That buddy, a guy that I know that recommended, I now know what he's talking about.
Who was the doctor?
Dr. Darabo. Darabo. D-E-R-I V-A-U-X. Something, Darabo.
And what's he indicated?
No, he's in Huntsville at the Eye Center. I think there's 4 or 5 doctors over there, but that's where he's connected with that. That's how they impressed me.
How did you get in? Somebody recommend you to them?
Well, no, this one
Or
guy
later
that
that
I
you
met,
walk
I
in
kept
with.
asking questions, and he told me all about the eye doctors and who was what, and what he discovered was this guy, and that's where he went to. And he said, I highly recommend this guy. When you go meet him, you use him, you'll see what I'm talking about. Boy, and he was dead on.
Spell that again, his name.
Darabo. D-E-R-I.
B-O-W?
V-A.
V or
Yeah, V-A-U-X. That's it.
V-A-U-X.
V-A-U-X.
Ooh, that's
I'll
hard.
have to ask him about what kind of.
Has a V in there, not a B.
Yeah, V like in Victor.
A little bit overall stuff here. Some of it you already know, some of it you may not know. Then I got a couple little handouts I'm going to give you, and I'm going to go over that right quick with you. I had so much material, I didn't know how to divide it up and do it, so I'm just going to do it short and easy. And if you got questions, I'm going to try to answer them for you. 25 years ago, it was down in Georgia. I seen that guy on the television station. They were interviewing him. And I was so impressed with what he said. I called that station, I said, and I was in south side of Macon at a paper mill working. And I asked him where this guy, I knew he'd be speaking somewhere in the area. I wasn't even sure where the TV station was. They said he was going to be, it was between Macon and Atlanta. So I took off and went up there on a Saturday. I got a guy, got up, he was kind of crazy. I didn't agree with him. My belief system was a little bit different than his. I argued with him on some stuff. I took him on. 3 or 4 years later, I found out he was right, and I was absolutely dead. But I would just, let me just say this. Jack Lane was the first guy, when I come out of the Navy, that I ever heard speak about anything about nutrition. I was born and raised in Decatur, Alabama. We eat everything we got our hands on. You didn't, that wasn't much. If you got a biscuit and egg at breakfast and turnip greens and cornbread and onion at night, you're still doing good. But people just where I live, just a lot of people didn't have no money. There's 3 or 4 or 5% of the people in the town that were well off and proud to eat whatever. However, since then I've learned, and I called it the affluence disease. The people who's got money that eat the rich foods and all that end up with the most diseases and problems. And I've learned a lot of things now. I thought it took me so long to learn. You know. But Jack LaLanne, I just swore he was right, man. I was just convinced he was right. And I started hearing people in Vegans talking about vegans. I thought them people's crazy. They out of their minds. I just believe that. But I like what Dr. Freeman says, Dr. Joel Freeman. He says when you talk to somebody about nutrition, eating foods, it's like trying to talk them out of their religion and talk them into another religion when it comes to changing that diet. People, for some reason, they just can't get that mindset. And I've experienced that through the years, and every time I think, for example, now I learned 30 years ago, or 30-something years ago, you cannot eat fruit and mix it with any food. And I see people sticking salads, they eat dinner and then they eat fruit and all that. I was totally convinced of that. Harvey and Marilyn Diamond wrote that book. They're on national TV all over this country. At the time, my first wife, her sister was a nurse at Harbor General Hospital in L.A. She called me one day. She said, I got a book. I'm going to send you my copy. You have got to read this book. She sent it. I'd never heard of it. I read that book. Well, she worked at Harbor General. She was a nurse, but she also worked in the basement with the doctors that did a lot of autopsies. And she says, until she read that book, she did not understand what food will do to you. And she said, them doctors all the time, they cut somebody open doing this autopsy, and they look at the blood vessels and arteries. Man, this guy was a heavy cheese eater. He drank a lot of milk. This guy ate this woman did that. She said, I didn't pay no attention to it. I didn't know what it meant. When I read that book, I understood every bit of it. Well, they preach what is called natural hygiene. You know, Dee, you know what that is? Compared to vegans and vegetarians, natural hygiene.
Never heard of it.
Well, you don't hear it much. Every once in a while I come across it. But you're going to eat the clean food. You do not mix fruit with any other food. You have to eat it on an empty stomach. The science behind that is that it takes an alkaline to digest fruit. If you put a protein, carbohydrate in there, it takes an acid. When you mix it in the stomach, it totally neutralizes the digestive juices and nothing happens. It passes through you. And it creates havoc. Well, it makes so much good sense.
Creates what?
It putrefies. It putrefies and it just annuls the nutrients. It just,
You don't
wrong
get the
thing to
nutrients
do.
from it then.
Well, they also taught that there's 3 cycles in 24 hours. There's an 8-hour cycle, like from 4 o'clock to 12 o'clock. That is the cleansing cycle. That's when you flush that body with waters or fruit. It cleanses. From 12 o'clock till 8 o'clock, that's when you eat foods or solid foods. From 8 o'clock at night to 4 o'clock, that's a rest period. That's the way your body is set up to function. Now, that book, Tony Robbins taught that. I went to a 4-day seminar. It cost me $4,200 to go to this. It was worth every penny of it. And I drove from Decatur, Alabama to Irvine, California, University of Southern California to go to this seminar. And when I left it, I'll never regret one nickel I spent going to that. Anyways, 2,500 people there. But anyway, that's what they taught, that mixing of fruit and like proteins. If you eat meat, which they recommend against, but if you do, you cannot mix proteins with like a baked potato. I don't know if it's a starch, carbohydrate, what it's called. because that
Starch.
creates a problem.
Starches.
You can eat a raw green salad with meat of any kind, it'll work fine. You can eat a salad with potatoes or carbohydrates, starches, or beans, it works fine, but you cannot mix them. They were into mixing the correct foods to process through your body. Now, I don't know how to argue or debate that, what we do. But the people that was at this seminar, and I'm just a construction worker, these were high, I'd say, I met one guy who was a cab driver. He and I, that whole bunch, was probably the least educated in there. The people that I met and went through 4 days with, when I left, the day I left, I started to say, well, who are you? Who are you? What are you doing? We just met, nobody knew anybody. There was a camaraderie. That seminar started on Friday night at, I believe it was 6 o'clock. It went from 6 o'clock to about 3 o'clock the next morning. I would say Tony Robbins crowned in a year of college in 4 days. You'll learn more in that 4 days. If I could ever, and this guy was only 31 years old. He was making $10 million a year.
The guy you went and listened to?
Did I listen to him? He was smart.
And how old were you?
I was, this was in June of 90, 30 years ago.
So you was 50 then.
Okay.
And I bet you thought to yourself even, he's 31 years old, he can't tell me nothing I don't know.
And I'll tell you what, if you ever had a chance to go hear him talk and do all this, if you can follow and do what he tells you, you will be a great success in life. Discipline like you would not believe. He did marry a girl with a PhD degree. He was smart enough to do that. And he met Carlin and married Marilyn Diamond, and his first seminar was on health and nutrition. And they were partners with him. But then he got out on his own. He did. What made me go to it, I was into motivational and management training in and I thought I was Alexander the Great in my century and I was going to conquer the world. Well, he starts off, one of the things he does as a metaphor is he walks on fire. You know what charcoal is? Or hot fire. He'll build something, he can walk across 15 foot of it. But at this seminar on Friday night, they took, after a couple hours we were there, we all went outside, and you've seen firewood stacked up. They had a tractor trailer truck load of firewood lined upon that ground in 20 sections, split up, and they set it on fire. When it burned down, it was nothing but ashes, red hot coals. What Tony's trying to teach you, if I can show you how to walk across that fire, do you believe you can walk across that and not burn your feet? Now, we could do this right now. It's your belief system. What do you really believe? If I show you can do that, although in your mind you think, God, that's impossible, I can't do that. He said, if I show you this possible, would you believe then that you could become a great success in life? And that's the matter. That's all that was for. Well, ain't too many people got some guts to walk across that hot fire. I'm sitting here, 2,300 people, 2,300 of us walked across. There's about 25 people that came, let's see, no, there's 2,500 people there. 35 medical doctors were there. Tons of lawyers, State Department people out of Washington, D.C., movie stars, movie directors, Steven Spielberg, people like him were there. And the whole thing was to teach you that you can dream and believe big and you can achieve things. That's all it was. It's just basic principles and stuff. But this guy is so powerful, man. There's a seminar after that. I didn't go to it, but I wanted to. It was in Hawaii for about 15 days. I think it cost about $5,000 to go to that thing. If you would go through that, you would not, I'll tell you what, I believe, I didn't get to do it. You would not be afraid to tackle or take on anything in life. I mean, it's just the things involved that they put you through. The Navy SEALs would almost struggle with this. And one of the things that was in it, as a construction worker that I was impressed with, that I knew the basic outline of it. They put a 6-inch pipe pole. It was either 90 or 120 feet in there, just stood up like a flagpole. I'm a pipe fitter, okay? They took an 8-inch square by 1/2-inch steel plate welded to the top. Is it 8, like one of these tiles? That's either a 10 by 10
These
or
are 12 on the
12.
floor.
Okay. Is these 10 by 10s or
12.
12 by 12. Well, imagine 8 by 8,
It's 4 inches less all the way
4
around.
inches less. Now, you're 90 feet in there, I'll tell you, I've worked out of steel baskets and cranes, 120, 130, 40 feet in the air. 90 feet or 100 feet, when you up there, is a long ways. What you did on your goal was stand in this pole with just your clothes on, no ropes, no safety gear, harness, nothing. You're just climb that pole, go all the way to the top of it. There's no handles on it. You're to stand on top of that, on your own. Then they've got a crane. Like, say, here's the pole. There's a crane over there with a 150, 200-foot boom in it. It's got that cable hanging down and a little trapeze on it. There's a smaller crane there, and the guy's in it. And that boom is way up there. He's going to hold that little trapeze on a rope or a chain. And he's going to, like where Peggy is at, he's going to turn that loose and let it swing towards Peggy. Well, it's going to come, well, let's say about right here. Peggy's standing on top of this pole. When that trapeze, when it swings out to here, only it's going to be lower down to her feet, she's got to jump off and grab that and swing down. When you do it and swing, they'll let you down on the crane.
That was at that seminar?
That's at the seminar in Hawaii. That's one I did not get to
Oh,
go
what
to.
you didn't get to go to.
But anyway, I don't know how I got up on all of that kind of stuff. But that's where I learned about foods and like that basic mixing stuff. I did when I come out of there for months and months. I tried it. I wasn't conscious of weight back then. I didn't have no weight problems because I was in pretty tough shape. I could work 14 hours a day, 7 days a week for 3 or 4 months in a row and not miss a leg. So I didn't have no problem. I could just go and go and go. Where I was in supervision, pulling wrenches, fitting pipe, climbing 120 feet in the air on steel ladders and ramps upside things and carrying heavy gear on me. But I was a lot younger then too.
Yeah.
But I wonder sometimes now I ever did what I did.
Me too.
But I'd love to went to that, but I was always, one of the problems with, I never had enough money to stop long enough to do stuff like that. But I tried it for a while, a long time, and boy, I was doing really good. And I was working it, came back, I ended up at Brown's Ferry over there in Decatur, working on night shift, working 7 nights a week, 12 hours a day. And I had a little welder working with me, his wife cooked some kind of food. Wasn't chili, but it was something like chili. And some kind of a cornbread or something. He brought about a gallon of sweet tea, I guess what it was. He begged me to eat that, and I wouldn't do it. He brought enough to last 3 or 4 nights. He finally talked me into doing that. When I did that stuff, I just went ballistic. I hadn't had no salt and sugar, that tea was sweet. And it's like, if I'd been an alcoholic or a drug addict, and I'd been clean for a year or two or something, and I took a drink or drug, I'd just, bam. I just went down and never come back. It took me a long time. When Peggy and I got married, we got married 17 years ago, last September. I was in Boston working. I was working 6 10s at night for about 6 months. And the last month or two before we got married, we went on 7 12s. When I worked 6 10s, I'd get up about, I think I was going to work at 6. I'd get up about 2 o'clock. I'd make a glass. I didn't know better about carrot juice, and you're supposed not to drink but 8 ounces at the most. I drank a full pint of carrot juice, 2-pound bag of carrots, and I just chug on it. Then I was do stretches, a little bit of curls and things in my little apartment. And I'd make me a thing of celery juice, about a pint of that. So I'd have a quart of juice in it. Well, then I'd take off over to the local high school at the gym and walk. I got up, I was reading Malcolm's book, and he's on aerobics. I was walking 4 miles in 60 minutes. And when I first started, I was 30 pounds or 25, 30 pounds off. And Peggy and I were dating, and I'd come home, I'd call her in her office and talk to her and tell her how I did that day, and then I'd get ready and go to work. And on my food I got to eating, down on the dock, I'm right on the ocean right here, on the docks down there, there was a produce market stand, a little store like that. You could buy all kind of fruits and vegetables. I just go in there and buy cantaloupe, watermelon, you name it, you could almost buy it. I'd bring it home, I'd make me a sack full of all kind of vegetables and fruits. I'd eat it on the way to work at break time in the summertime. That's what I was eating. Doing basically what Malcolm has said and what I'm fixing to tell you about then. But I had about 6 months' time of doing that. Then I went to 7-12. I had to quit my walking, and I got off the diet a little bit. But when Peggy and I got married, God gave us a little honeymoon that we wasn't planning on. I was supposed to be on that job 6 more months. After we got married, worked 2 weeks, bam, cut me loose, laid me off. It's in October, 1st October. Normally I'd go get on the phone and get another job. But anyway, I ended up staying up there, and we just went all over the countryside and sightseeing, everything up there. And my energy level was unbelievable. I was in good a shape then, I think, if I've ever been in my life. I could not believe what I could do after we got married, and I was free. Every day we get up, take off, go eat somewhere. We wouldn't get back till 11, 12 o'clock at night. We'd go everywhere. We drove up through New Hampshire, Maine, Vermont. We just went everywhere, sightseeing, everything. All the way up to about Thanksgiving, and we came down to the south. We just went everywhere and did everything. I just couldn't believe it, and I look back, I know I didn't feel no super strength, but them aerobic, that walking I was doing, and eating them vegetables and fruits, did major for me. That's what I'm trying to do again, and it's going to go along with what I'm going to say right here. Let me get started on this. Vibrant health. One of the first and most critical things you want to do is breathing, deep breathing. Now you guys may know a little bit about this, may not, but let me just read you a little bit here. Without ATP, our bodies would immediately shut down, and without oxygen, there would be no ATP. It is clear that optimal oxygenation of your cells through proper nutrition, fluid intake and exercise, and stress management is absolutely necessary in order to maintain our health. The richest blood flow is in the lower lungs. When this area fails to be adequately ventilated with air, we end up under-oxygenated. Proper breathing requires the use of the diaphragm, the layer of muscle that separates the chest from the abdomen cavity. Learn to breathe from the bottom up. The first step you want to do here is, the first step you can take to immediately condition your body for maximum nutrition is to learn to breathe properly. I'm going to teach you how to breathe. I know you don't know how to do this, but I'm going to teach you. Here's the formula. 1, 4, 2. You want to breathe in the count of 1, hold it to the count of 4, breathe out 2. How many of you know about this? You know about it? Basically, where you'd about start off is you'd do 7, 28, 14. That's where I started at. Now I do it when I do it. I do 10 up to 10, hold it for 40, breathe out 20. Breathe through your nose to count of 10, hold it to the count of 40, breathe out through your mouth to the count of 20.
At one time?
You're going to do this 10 times.
Well, I was going to say that's a lot.
10 times,
Yeah.
3 times a day. Morning, noon, and night. This will, believe it or not, it will do miracles for you. One of the most critical things it's going to do for you. How many understand the lymph system in the body?
You got a hand out on that breathing.
No, but I got some more.
Okay.
The lymph system. The circulatory system, we have a pump called the heart. It pumps the blood. The lymph system has no pump. The lymph system is the garbage collector in your body. It's the fluid that goes through, picks up the dead cells, all the waste, the trash, the toxins and the poisons in your body, carries them to the kidneys and to the bowels, and it's flushed out. If this lymph system ain't working properly, you're going to get disease quick, and you'll have some major problems. When you breathe that properly, there was a doctor in a research group somewhere years ago that did this. They tried everything they could imagine. And with this formula of breathing of 1-4-2 was the best thing that they found to make that lymph system work.
Is that better than rebound?
Better than exercise, brother.
Because I think this rebounds has had double knee replacement.
There are some things, I don't know how to explain this, I don't have no evidence, but we're all different to some degree. Peggy and our diets is different. Exercise, she can do things I can't do. I can do things she can't. I don't know how she functions. No more water than what she drinks. She's on the suicide rate, but she ain't dead. She keeps on going. So I mean, it defies
Feel good, didn't it?
and different doctors, different groups.
Well,
Preach a different story.
everybody's body's different.
Yeah,
We
just
know that.
different.
And everybody may take a different amount of something to work right with that person versus another one even.
Bill, you may not remember that, but you're the one that told me about the rebound. And I ordered
Okay.
it, $700 and something. Boy, I used it for years and years till I had my knee operation. But you're the one down there in the basement at that church in Decatur.
Yeah.
You
I
just one
remember,
told me
yeah.
about it and encouraged me to get it.
Well, aerobics, I used to think that was wimpy stuff. Real men did weightlifting or something, just strong. Well, I've reversed every bit of that now. You got
All we gotta do is breathe now, huh?
Well, no, there's the thing. I'm
In
gonna
the
go through
Oh, you
all
mean-
in
these
front
things.
of the
And
TV.
drink some water.
It's critical.
You're gonna add something to it now, huh?
I'm 81. I got out of my walking. I was hitting that treadmill, I got a treadmill down in my basement. I was doing that. But I lost it. It just wasn't doing nothing for me. We went and joined the gym here last June. Hit the trail mill up there, boy, and I didn't last 3 or 4 weeks. My knees was killing me. And they said, you gotta quit it.
Yeah.
So I kept thinking, I got to walk. I don't know what else I can do aerobically. So I got my lawnmower out and cut me a path all the way around my yard. It's about 4/10 of a mile around it. If I walk that 5 times, that's 2 miles. It takes me 45, 50 minutes to do it, but it's kind of a little rough. It's not easy walking like on a smooth thing. I started doing that, that did miracles for me. I mean, that
Didn't hurt your knees?
my knees didn't hurt.
Wow.
I don't know what the difference is. I don't know how to explain it. It's a little bit rougher and I have to go a little bit slower. But boy, it did, outside in the air, the sunshine, it may have something to do with it. Sometimes it's cold. I even took the umbrella several times. While it was raining and walked.
All you need is 20 babies to keep up with every day. That'll give you all the walking you need. Believe me.
Well, anyway, back to the deep breathing. Let's see, I'll explain to you about the 1-4-2. What do cells need to survive and to thrive? I got a long story I'd like to tell you, but we ain't got time to do it. I'm going to skip all that. You need
Give us a short version.
Well, I'm just going to give it to you. This is real short. Another time I'll tell you this whole story. But oxygen is the source of all energy in the body. Cells use oxygen to convert glucose into ATP. Now, you guys know what the ATP is. Them big fancy words that is. They'll know what that is.
She said refresh her memory.
Refresh my memory.
I'm not.
Oh, it's a big fancy word, but they just shortly call it ATP. That's the fuel in your body, basically.
Okay.
All right, you got to have the oxygen, you got to have nutrients, and you got to have the ability to eliminate. There's a long story about a doctor was putting cells, taking human cells, putting them in bell jars in a laboratory. He wanted to know, he researched to figure out how long could them cells live. If you got the proper oxygen to them cells, the nutrients to it, and it, a way for them to eliminate the toxins in the waste. I don't know if that doctor lived 20 or 30 years. When he died, the cells were still thriving. Another doctor come in, took over. 20 or 30 years later, he either died or they shut down the experiment. And them cells never missed a leg function. But it was oxygen, nutrients, and the ability to eliminate. All right, let's go to the second most important thing, is living water and live food. Water is essential and a major component of all living matter, and it is the largest single compound of the body. An adult can live several weeks without food, but no more than 10 days without water. Now that used to be 4 days without water, and I'm not sure. Different people has got different things, and I don't know what to argue and debate on that. I used to, for the last 20 years, wanted to win the lottery. I was going to sit at me a research lab and buy me one of them high-dollar microscopes and all that, and hire me a couple of techs, and just research and study that for them. We could do that, but I ain't got nothing to sell, so I don't have slam. I'm not trying to talk you into smoking or drinking Miller's Light or whatever, you know, so I'm going to just tell you straight up what works and what don't. But everybody that does got stuff, they all slant it to sell something, so, you know. And it's funny, doctors on the East Coast, West Coast, North and South, they'll learn something, they're all equally qualified, they'll tell you one story, you get 4 different stories. Who do you believe? How do you know? Sometimes you got to just step over in the common sense corner and just make a, Lord, what do I do now? Our brains are approximately 80% water. Digestion, circulation, excretion cannot occur without it. It carries nutrients and all vital body substances, plays a crucial role in maintaining body temperature, serves as building material for growth and repair of the body. What is the minimum amount of water you need to survive? You can lose 50% of your glucose. You can lose 50% of the fat on your body. You can lose 50% of the protein in your body. But you can only lose 20% of your water, or you're in major trouble. Water is, the right liquids is very important. Success and failure are not overnight experiences, and this is what we're all learning. It's all the small decisions along the way in life that causes people to fail or succeed.
True.
And that's why we got this meeting right here, to keep learning going. It's like I compare it to a big shot. Do you guys know what a big shot is?
What?
A big shot. You know, a person that thinks really somebody big and
Oh,
important.
big shot, okay.
Big shot. That's just a little shot that just keeps on shooting. That's all it is. That's what we do. You just go through life like this. That's what I think about when I think about this stuff. I used to get worried when I make mistakes and screw up, especially when I'm doing engineering. I can't believe I screwed that up. But it's just life. There's intervening variables, this thing. We got all this flu stuff. I could talk here for a couple hours on that, but I'm not. Okay. 70% of the planet is covered with water. Approximately 70% of your body is made up of water. 70% of your diet should consist of water-rich foods. I think Malcolm says 85% water-rich, raw, water-rich foods. He may not say it in that order, but he's talking about eating raw stuff. 85% water content.
George Mountain.
George Malcolm said, hallelujah.
Oh, no.
Tony Robbins, some of this there, I think he said 70, but I think when I was in that seminar, he was saying 80%. It's all close. I'd say 70 to 85% is what they mostly, that they agree on. Okay, you don't have to do this tonight, but the next day or two, do this. Write down everything that passes your lips in the last 24 hours or 48 hours. When you get that list, look it over good, and ask yourself what percentage of your diet is made up of water-rich foods. And just check your own self. You might be surprised what you're gonna learn. And every time you reach for food, I'll give you a new principle here. Ask this question. Does this cleanse me or does this clog me? Does this promote good health or does it destroy my health? Think about that. Just a little food for thought there. All right, got oxygen, water. Now we're going to aerobic power and maximum strength. You must balance aerobic training, which gives you overall health, with aerobic training, which builds muscle. You have got to have both of them. 30 years ago when I went to Tony Robbins and I went through all of this, this is basically what they teach. You got to have the right nutrient. Well, you got to have the right oxygen. You got to have the right fluids. You got to have aerobics. You got to have anaerobics.
Strength training.
Yeah, you got them things are for, and I talked to one of the guys that worked for him for years. I kept running into people on the road that worked for him here and there. It was very successful. And I'd call them and ask them about stuff. I've read all their books and tapes, most of the tapes and stuff. Been to a couple of seminars. One of the guys that worked for him for a long time told me, and this was maybe 7, 8, 10 years ago, he said, Bill, we have tried everything in the book. This is absolutely a must. There is no way around this. You have got to do it. He said, we've experimented. At the time when I met Tony, when he was 31, making $10 million, he had 2 full-time doctors on his payroll doing nothing but research worldwide to tell you what's the best nutrition, how do you have vibrant, good health and enjoy life. And ever since then, every time I've disagreed with him, found somebody else, I always come back. And Malcolm, I didn't agree with him, but Malcolm and Tony Robbins is about 99% on the money. There's all kind of new stuff out there they keep doing, but when you get back to it, you're right back to them.
Who's Tony Robbins?
Huh?
Who is Tony Robbins?
Well, I call him a motivational speaker, but he started out teaching about nutrition and health.
I've never heard of him.
Well, he was famous on TV. One of my grandsons told me not long ago. He said, Papa said, I look up Tony Robbins. I read his stuff all the time. He's kind of a quiet guy. He graduated from University of Alabama about a year ago. Went to work over in Huntsville. Got a good job. Computer. He don't even know what he's doing. How to tell you what he's doing. But I can tell he's really ambitious and he's reading this. He's trying to get on a healthy diet. He goes to the gym.
Your grandson?
My grandson, one of them's doing something good anyway. Some of them ain't doing too hot, but I thought, well, if he's listening to Tony Robbins, this guy's thinking. He is paying attention if he's doing that. All right, aerobic training. The term aerobic means literally with oxygen and refers to moderate exercise sustained over a period of time. This type of training builds endurance, supports the heart, the lungs, blood vessels, aerobic muscles. In aerobic mode, you are burning fat as your primary fuel. Doing anaerobics, your weight training, the term aerobic means without oxygen and refers to exercises that are sustained for only short bursts of time or power. This type of training burns glycogen as its primary fuel and causes the body to store fat. That's what I don't like about it, because I've been in that gym 7, 8 years, and it was very difficult to lose weight. Couldn't tell them doing no good. But when I get out there and walk that 2 miles in 45 minutes, it doesn't need more good. Been working out an hour and a half in that gym 3 times a week. I don't know how to explain that either. What are the benefits of aerobic training? Here's where aerobics is so important. You got to have the weight training too. Your lungs operate more efficiently. Your blood vessels have it enlarged. Your blood supply increases, especially the red blood cells and hemoglobin, which is critical to all these diseases going around. But I'm going to tell you some more stuff more dangerous than what they're talking about in a minute. Aerobics makes healthier body tissue with more oxygen, which gives you more energy. It does wonders for your heart. It helps you eat, digest, and eliminate waste better. Helps you to sleep better. Helps you to feel better mentally and emotionally. All right, I'm gonna get quickly, I'm just gonna touch on foods. Raw fruit and raw vegetables and beans are the three foods with the best correlation with longevity in humans. They protect against all types of cancer. Leafy greens are the most nutrient-rich foods on the planet and are the best predictor of extreme longevity. The most important diet: you must consume high levels of fruit, green vegetables, and beans. This is the key to both weight loss and better health. They are loaded with vitamins, minerals, protective micronutrients, and phytochemicals. Okay, and I'm going to touch a little bit more on that in just a minute. But here's something else that's in the last 2 or 3 years I keep running into this. Do any of you watch Dr. Nerda on TV?
Who?
Know who Dr. Nerda is? I call it the Seventh-day Adventist station. I don't know what it is. Hope Channel. Hope Channel. You ever watch that, D? Anybody know what I'm talking about? You ever watch it? You watch it? Oh, I just love this lady. I don't agree with her on everything, but she interviews doctors all over the world. All kinds of specialists and stuff. And there's several favorites that I got on. You'll just fall in love with some of these guys. They'll teach you stuff. There's a couple, there's a black man and his wife. Both of them are doctors in Europe. And I can't even think of that guy's name. I just love this guy. He works with hundreds or thousands of men in Europe. Some kind of director or something in Europe. When that guy speaks, I could sit and listen to this guy for hours. He is fascinating. And they preach beans like unreal. I bet you she's interviewed 4 or 5 doctors, specialists in Europe, I guess New Zealand, Australia, I don't know where else, they got different accents, American doctors and all that. In the last 2 years, I just cannot believe what beans has got, the nutrients and what it does for you. It stabilizes your blood sugar, your blood pressure, triglycerides, cholesterol. It's just magic. And from different parts of the world, these different doctors talk about this. Just all kinds of good stuff. She's on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. And she's on at 1 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 9 o'clock at night. I'll watch it once or twice a day. I've tried to, but here lately I haven't had a chance to do it. And a lot of them are reruns. But when you watch any of us here, when we repeat something, you know what the mother of learning is? Repetition, repetition, repetition. And the older I get, the more I got to hear. And when I come to this meeting, this encouragement builds me up.
Yeah.
It's just repetition, basically, reminds you. Anyway, here's something that's kind of new and little odds and ends magazines and stuff, vitamin magazines or different little places. I keep running into this, and I read an article last night in the magazine, so I thought I just added it into my notes here. I don't know if you've heard about this. Calorie restriction is now established to be the most powerful intervention to delaying aging and increasing longevity. I'll say it again. If you reduce your calories, it is the latest, greatest thing they've discovered. It's the most powerful intervention to help you to age gracefully and live longer and enjoy a vibrant, good life.
I've heard that.
Calorie restriction.
For years.
I'm going to break that down for you in just a minute, a little bit, what calorie restriction is. 2 things. And I'm trying to, it's hard to change your habits.
It is.
It is hard to change. Then I'm going to get to that in a minute. I'll just point out a few little things that I felt was real important that we ought to say. I know it's good for me. I hope it's good for you. There are 10 biomarkers of aging. 1, bone density. As you get older, you lose your calcium. It's lost with age. Your body temperature regulation declines with age. Basic metabolic rate declines 2% per decade after age 20. Blood sugar tolerance, ability to use declines. Strength of muscles at age 30, muscles and your motor nerves go down, starting at age 30. Fat content in body from age 20 to 65 doubles the ratio of muscle to fat. Aerobic capacity. By 65, ability to use oxygen declines. You lose 30 to 40% of your ability, body's ability to process oxygen. That's critical right there. Cholesterol, HDL ratio. At age 50, the good HDL cholesterol, protecting against heart disease, loses to bad LDL cholesterol. Muscle mass. Loses 6.6 pounds of muscle each decade after young adulthood. Blood pressure. Most Americans show steady increase in blood pressure. Ask you a question. What is the one and only activity that's been proven by science to reverse, not just slow down or stop, all 10 of these biomarkers of aging? What do you think that is? There's one thing that's been proved that will not slow it down, not stop it, it will reverse every bit of that, which is critical to everybody in this room.
Not have stress,
Huh?
not be so stressed.
That ain't it. That's
Water,
Exercise.
the water, since you've been pushing water.
Oxygen.
Dee, what do you think? Ain't you a PE teacher?
Walking.
The big O, oxygen, is what
Betty,
the
what do
body
you
runs
say?
on, and you gotta have exercise. I know people that actually, they have terrible diets, but they exercise good, and it makes a big difference.
What kind of exercise?
Walking. You got to go.
It's gotta be vigorous, you gotta get the oxygen.
Two types, aerobic and anaerobic. What would you think?
Walking, don't they say walking and gardening are two of the best?
Well, it's good. That's aerobic exercise. The absolute incredible best. The only thing that's ever been proved to reverse it is weightlifting.
I can't do that, I
And
got
static.
bone, I can't lift weight.
Yeah, you can.
I can't even take those pet taxes, that's why Lynn had to go cover
You got a
with
sack,
that.
anything weighs a pound or 2 or 3 pounds?
I'm telling you, it puts me flat on my
Can
back
you
and
do
I
this
can't even
with a-
pick up a cat,
Hey.
let alone a pet tax.
Could you do this right here with a couple of pounds? That's weightlifting.
Well, I do that
Whatever
all
you
the
can
time,
do.
picking up them babies.
But you do it, you need to have a
But you
system.
don't have to have everything you better.
But isn't that kind
You
of
don't
amazing?
have to just tighten your fist up.
I forget this.
You don't have to.
This is 30 years old. I've
I
been
got
doing
cats
this.
when you're
30
pounds.
Weightlifting. All right, do anybody know what static contractions are?
No, I don't.
Okay, we won't get into all of that. It's better than weightlifting.
It's better than weightlifting.
Weightlifting.
Okay.
It's, but I don't know how they, I found out about it, and tell you, how long ago was we working in Atlanta? I bought that book in Atlanta, read that book. Weightlifters and a couple of weightlifters that run a gym up north somewhere come up with it, experimented, researched with it. If you could, whatever you can do, it don't matter. You can pick up 5 pounds, 10 pounds, 300 pounds, 5,000 pounds, or whatever you want to do it. I can't remember now, but if you was holding it, like if I was doing curls, let's say I was doing, thinking the gym was doing 60 pounds, 30 pounds, say 30 pound in that hand. Right in the middle of that, if you will hold that, the maximum length for so many seconds, the most weight that you can possibly do, hold it for 5, 6, 7 seconds and let it go. About 2 times a week will build a bigger, faster, stronger body than weightlifting. Every exercise. I went to gym after gym to ask them people how to teach me that to do that. They didn't know what I was talking about.
What is it called?
Static contractions.
Static.
But they claimed they had all kind of world-class athletes and weightlifters, and they started doing it, and it just blew their mind, the strength that it built up in. Anyway, but you can do weight, everybody knows what weightlifting is. You can take a can of soup or beans and sit and do it if you have to, or
Or
weights.
cat.
think you
I
can't.
know y'all think I'm crazy, but I do. Ain't no telling how many times I pick up.
But anyway, that's what I'm saying, aerobic and anaerobic, you gotta work that together. I feel like the aerobic is more important, but man, what all that guy I used to talk to all the time, Tony Robbins, he said, "Bill, you gotta have it all, you gotta put it all together."
Aerobics
These
don't
basic
need
things
help
you
build the
cannot
heart.
get around. He said, we've tried everything, at that time, they were doing a lot of juicing too, they did carrot juice, celery juice, and beet juice and stuff like that. Now they've slowed off on the juicing.
Who does?
Tony Robbins, his group of people. Joel Furman says he's kind of down on juicing. The smooth is a little bit better. He wants you, and basically where I'm going to now and what I'm reading and studying, eat the whole food. Just eat that whole beet, the whole carrot, or the whole celery.
Well, Dr. Robbins says the reason juicing is so much better, because I asked him about that, because it's so much waste, you know, all this fiber stuff. But he says that you're building, your body, all that energy is, that it would take to process all that fiber is going toward healing. And it's better to juice because it's building live enzymes and it's healing.
Two handouts. Let's look at the one that says pure energy, the power of alkalinity, living health. Now, a lot of people don't know about this. Are you aware of that your body actually operates and runs off of electricity?
Yes.
Yes.
You know, all your nerves, motors, electricity.
Every now and then when I'm doing electrical work, I get shocked, it just builds me up.
It charges you battery. don't it?
I jump up and down, all I got hold of
I've
it.
had several charges myself. Okay. If you look at that list, it's talking about that. On the top left-hand side, what they're showing you is how many megahertz of electricity is in certain foods. Just a couple things I want to point out to you. You can see canned food 0, chocolate cake 1 to 3, Kentucky Fried 3, Big Mac 5, vitamin and minerals 10 to 30, raw almonds 40 to 50, fruits 63 to 75, real important. Green vegetables 70 to 90 megahertz, very important. Live fresh wheatgrass, I don't know where you get that, but it's 70 to 90. All right, then a rose, they're saying 320 on this chart. I was told a rose had 400 megahertz.
Who eats
What kind of
rose?
road? What-
A rose, like a flower rose. I don't know what good that would do if you smell it, if you get some of that energy or not. I
Well,
don't
you
know.
can eat roses. Roses are very
I've
edible.
never
That's what I
heard of
wanna
nobody
ask.
eating a rose.
Oh, yeah. There is actually a book that shows you what flowers you can eat. And you can look it up online. There's a lot of flowers you can eat.
Well, on the right-hand column over there, it shows you that a tumor in your body takes 30 megahertz for it to operate. Your liver takes 55 to 60. Your colon takes 58 to 63. Stomach takes 58 to 65. The top of your head takes 60 to 70 megahertz electricity. Your feet 65, your heart 65 to 70, and your brain is the highest at 72 to 78. A running computer is 90 to 400. I'm telling you that, you just study this over, you want to look at foods that's going to produce this energy. If you're eating a negative balance, you're headed for trouble.
We need a lot of roses.
Yeah. I keep wanting to go to
Let's
some
get that
kind
book
of,
and find out.
I've called Dr. Young a couple of times, but they don't ever answer the
I've had a
phone.
rose on my desk for about 4 or 5 weeks now, and the boss lady come in and told me the other day, she said, it's time to get rid of it, it's dead. But I still got it sitting there.
Okay, Dee,
Do you know roses, the essential oil, a rose essential oil has one of the highest electrical things. Rose of Shannon, remember what it talks
Yeah.
about?
Yeah, in the Bible.
Yeah, the Rose of Shannon.
These
Rose
super
of-
That's-
greens, that has to be raw, don't it? The super greens, don't that have to be raw? To have
well, that's a
that-
pioneer order. I've tried to order and get that, but I ain't never been able to get them.
Which one's that?
Super greens.
Super
It'd
green.
have to be raw though, to make it have
Yeah,
the energy.
all right.
live energy, as
All right.
Dr. Rowland
We're
called it.
gonna get to that here in just a minute.
Can't be dead.
Okay, drop down to the bottom, the part on the left, you can read that later, but what I want you to see is those two thermometers, they don't show up as good as they did in the book. On the left-hand side, it shows you that fresh wheatgrass got 70 to 90. Uncooked organic vegetables, that's what I want you to see, 70 to 90 megahertz. Uncooked raw organic vegetables, 70 to 90. Below it, you got fruits, which are gonna be raw, 65 to 75. Under it is uncooked, non-organic vegetables. Look at that now. 50 to 65. See that drop? I'm trying to show you that organic stuff has got a lot more in it than non-organic. Unfortunately, we can't all buy organic all the time. It's hard. You gotta do the best you can.
Right.
But if you got access to all of that,
I
that's
got
your
some
best.
roses planted out beside the house, they'll be blooming for long.
Well, we'll come over and eat roses at your house. Raw almonds has only got 40 to 50 megahertz. Now look at the cooked organic vegetables, 20 to 25 megahertz. It really drops. Cooked non-organic, it drops to 10 to 25. You can read, then you on the right-hand side, you see how much your brain needs and all that. My point is on that chart right there, take that, think that over, read it over for a week or so and think it, and then we're gonna compare it to the other chart. Then I want you to see that megahertz, what you need there. You're gonna, go ahead, Dee.
I just want to say this real quick. My grandson was asking the other day, well, Grandma, why do we have to put these vegetables in the cooler and da-da-da-da-da-da-da? But I told him, you know, we used to go down to Birmingham and we would buy cases and cases of food. And there was one room we would put it in. The temperature would rise in that room like you wouldn't believe. It puts off energy. But you put canned food over there, how much energy? Zero.
Zero.
It's cold in there.
Well, this is just good information to know. Let's go to that next sheet over here with all the list of foods. There's 72 items listed. What this is, Dr. Joel Freeman made a list of the micronutrient density per calorie in food. Remember I read you a while ago about the low calorie thing is kind of the end thing now that produces better health than anything low calorie. Now here's what it, if you look at them first 5 items, kale, collard greens, mustard greens, watercress, Swiss chard. They are the top 5 foods with 1,000 micronutrients per each calorie in that food. I don't know how you would get any more low calorie, high nutrient density than that. That would be incredible if you could maintain that like that.
I owe you an apology. I heard it from Mr. Joel about the micronutrients.
Okay.
I told you that I never heard that earlier. I have too, and that rung the bell, I remember that.
All right, good. And it just goes down the list. You can look at every one of them. I was using like, on a salad, I had a list that I thought was the 5 or 6, 7 top foods. I know kale, collard greens, mustard greens, either watercress or the Swiss chard. I don't know what that is. I'm about to look that up in the supermarket, and every time I go, I can't find it. Or either nobody knows what to tell me what it is.
It's a green Swiss chard.
Yeah, and spinach, arugula, I know what that, romaine lettuce. I thought romaine lettuce was a real premium top.
Well,
But it's
I did
it's
too.
got
Well, it's way
5.
better than that iceberg down there.
Oh, yeah, it's number 9.
It's number 9.
It's 10,
iceberg's
Brussels
24.
sprout, cabbage, and broccoli. Broccoli is really loaded with protein, I think.
Well, you know,
Broccoli's
they
got
did a
this.
study and they found that
Oh, this is raw.
kale, you know those runners, the Kenya boys, their top food is kale.
What are you talking about, a runner?
Runners, they are the best runners in the
Oh,
world.
oh, okay, runner.
And kale is what they eat, a lot of
Okay.
kale and sweet potatoes.
Well, there it is, right there, it'll tell you.
And kale's number one on his list there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
kale's number one, you look at that.
Well, we have a kale smoothie every morning.
Kale smoothie
Every
every
morning.
Man, you guys doing good, I am
No, we
proud
ain't.
of you.
No, we ain't. It's my turn to say something, Bill, I'm gonna interrupt.
All right, go right ahead.
Oh, cause you have to fix it, right?
No.
No, you fixed it, I had no problem, it's not fixing. I went to Dr. Robbins, I guess 6 months ago. And got a halfway decent good report from my book. I just kept going downhill, I wasn't doing everything he told me to do, and that's my fault.
Yeah.
So I went back about a month and a half ago, and I don't know exactly what ketones are.
Okay,
I do.
Y'all might, but it's supposed to be 1 point something. Well, mine's .01 the last time I went. Well, she said 4, I'm sorry. But anyway, it's way down from what it ought to be from what he's saying. I'm running just wide open every day. Today was my worst day. I've been moving desks and petitions and stuff in the office all day this morning, and I got so weak. And I told her on the way here, I said, something's going on in my head. Because I was having tremors today, and it just felt like an earthquake. I wasn't shaking, I couldn't feel myself shaking, but it just felt like the building was fixed, like it was an earthquake or something.
Unsteady.
But I couldn't, I didn't see my hand shaking or anything like that. But y'all be praying for me, because I got to get back on,
Okay.
I mean,
Dr.
sure, I'm
Rollins
drinking this
one
kale
told me about the
smoothie
ketones.
every morning, and it's good for me, or I'd probably done been dead.
Dr. Rollins one told me about the ketones. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah,
I'd never heard of it.
He has to
And I'm
take
supposed to be
oil,
drinking-
the good oils.
Olive oil, MCT oil,
Flaxseed oil.
flaxseed oil,
Coconut oil.
coconut oil. I'm supposed to be drinking all 4 of them about 4 times a day. And sometimes
Well,
I might get them in one.
Three.
His
I
ketones.
get 'em in the
Try to
morning,
get my
I thought-
ketones back up. And
But I did that when I was trying to get my knees well, for about 3 months or so, and, I had excellent health, but I couldn't rebuild my cartilage. But that's the only thing he's failed to help me with, Dr. Rowland. He knows his stuff, I'm telling
Just be
you.
praying for me, because I know it's me. Until I get my head in the game, I'm on the wrong track.
When I went to him, first time I went to him, I was out to prove he was wrong. And I knew that if I didn't do what I'm supposed to do, then I couldn't say, well, it ain't nothing to it, So I done everything he said to a T. And it was amazing how much better I got, and I believe in it. I just gotta get back on track
Get
like
back
I
on
used to
track.
be.
That's the
Dee
same
knows
thing
I
with me.
used to be on track before I had my knee surgery, didn't you?
Hey, this is why we have this health support group, to help us all.
Yeah.
Satan knows that it was easy for her to fall, it's easy for us to fall.
Mhm.
We need to pray for one another, and this is helping us.
And pray for Clarence, because the Lord can help him when
Yeah.
He will.
everything else fails.
Because Satan is attacking all of us, physically, mentally, and spiritually. But God has already won.
Yes.
Victory
this young 87-year-old man in the gym 2 or 3 months ago brought me a copy of a prayer, the Serenity Prayer. I don't know who wrote it, but there's a lot more to it. Usually the AA and
Yeah, that's what.
God grant me the serenity to
Whatever
accept
the
the
other
things
one
that
is.
cannot change, the courage to change the things
And I
that can, the
thought-
wisdom, know the difference. I say it
that's it.
over and over and over. to
I
myself.
started doing that, and then I forget about it. Now this is reminding me when Clarence is telling that prayer kicked in my head. I thought, we need to be doing that every day. Peggy's, one of her brothers is a Presbyterian preacher up in Marissa, Illinois, right out of St. Louis. Been 3 years ago, I guess now. He was way overweight. He had a heart attack, or he thought he was having one. His wife is a master's degree nurse, summa cum laude. He called her, she came home, took him to the emergency room. The doctors told him, said, man, you're going to have a heart operation, you're going to have some bypass stents, something put in. He said, well, how much time do I have to think about this? And about that time, he had a heart attack.
Oh, my word.
And they told him, about 3 seconds, what do you want to do? He said, Bill, I thought I was never going to see my wife and kids again. he come through that thing, he come through that operation, they happen to have a heart doctor there in that hospital thing. And this was in a smaller town, not a big town, it was probably 15, 20 miles out of St. Louis. Belleville, over in Belleville, I think, these are just little country towns that surrounds, you know, the big huge city, but on the Illinois side. Well, he come through that, and I'm thinking he had to lose 100 pounds. Them doctors told him that he started out, every morning, he had to go walk for 5 minutes. Every afternoon, you walk 5 more. He cut out the colas, cookies, chips, all that junk food, and he's used to eating everything, just whatever he wants. I've said his house, every time they pay to go there through the years, and his wife fixes a royal meal, not like what we do, but American standard, she's got it. I don't dare argue, debate this woman, she could blow me away in a second. She knows how to take. I need a high-tech person to go up against her. She got the answer for it all, and she's so sweet, quiet, and professional about it. And James just, I wonder, his wife and his kids, all slim and trim, James don't want to complain. I watched him start bringing that weight down, and he faithfully, diligently, every day followed to the T what them doctors done it. I watched that boy come down, and I asked him one day, I said, James, I know that's hard. I said, that takes a lot of discipline to do. I said, how do you do that? He said, Bill, let me tell you something. He said, every day when I wake up, I get out of that bed, the first thing I do is pray and ask God for wisdom and the courage to do what I need to do today. And I watched that guy drop 100 pounds. He's in the gym, his wife and him both joined the gym. She homeschooled 3 kids. The 2 oldest girls have now graduated from college, summa cum laude, and his son is in her now. And one of them, is Christine back, don't work on her doctorate now. That girl's done her job, and they both going to that gym. He told me, he said, well, one day I don't feel like going, Sarah will talk me into it. Next day, Sarah don't want to go, I'll talk her into it.
That's good.
But he said that key, you ask God for wisdom and courage every day.
That's good advice.
That's it. You know, we kind of don't think about stuff like that, but that's critically important.
That's real good advice.
Anyway, I want you to get that, look, study that over, and see if you can piece things together from that, and what that'll do for you. To help you, but that's something to think about. There's a lot of information out there, it's hard to know perfectly what to do. Then what works for you may not work for Betty, or Dee, or for me. What seems to work for me may not work for somebody else.
But you know, from your talk, it shows that what we were given in the beginning, the Garden of Eden,
That's
is the
it.
diet. Do you want to have prayer for us?
Yeah.
This was excellent.
Okay. Father, thank you for your love and mercy and grace and goodness to us. Thank you for helping us to meet together here tonight and study and learn things together and talk over things. Father, I ask that you give us the wisdom to know what to do.